Hi everyone, my name is Corrine Nickings, and we're going to focus on the counseling career theories found on pages 329 to 335. First, we start with Anne Rowe's theory that says that if you come from a child-centered, rejecting, or accepting home, then you'll probably seek jobs and work experience that are similar to the experiences that you enjoyed as a kid or that you missed out on and wished you had as a kid. We'll look at 6 different types. There's the child-centered home, which has 2 types. Overprotective parents who groom you to be dependent on them and limit your out-in-the-world experiences. You're their baby. They want to take care of you forever and ever, and you'll have a lot of growth and independencing to do. The over-demanding parents set high standards, and they expect you to abide by all of them, which can be really stressful and add a lot of pressure to your life. Then we have the avoidant home. The rejecting parent does their best to keep you from interfering from their life, like they didn't bring you here. They feel bitter about you and they don't hide it. But then you also have the neglecting parent who isn't as overtly mean as the rejecting parent, sorry. But this parent only meets the bare minimum care needed to keep you alive. Then we have the accepting pattern. There is casually accepting parents who will give you the medium level attention and affection only if they're available to do so. So we'll kind of call them the chill parents. You can kind of do what you want, but you might not get all that you need from them. Then there's also the casually loving parents, which sounds like what it is. Parents who give you all the love, attention, care, and support that you need. It's probably the household that we want to shoot for. Of these 6 types of interactions, overprotecting, loving, and over-demanding create a career choice that is geared more towards persons, whereas the other 3, casual, neglecting, and rejecting, produce an orientation away from people when you're looking into careers. Now, while there is a ton of research that was sparked by Anne Rowe's theory, none of it has really been conclusive. We can't confirm that this is how it actually happens, but she has contributed to the idea that our career choices fulfill these childhood voids and reinforce childhood highlights. Next, we have John Crumble's theory. He took a closer look at the factors that help us choose our careers, your race, your gender, cultural and physical traits, intelligence and abilities, all the things that basically are internally steadfast about us or change slowly over time. They limit the careers that you can realistically land, regardless of what you are capable of and what you're actually interested in. Aside from internal things that we can't change, there are also external obstacles that we have to look out for and dodge and pay attention to. There are labor laws, and that changes if you move, for example, or taking a look at what jobs are hiring or what positions are even available within the companies that you might be interested in, what positions are offered and what resources you have access to, who you network with. All of those play a role as well. What we have learned throughout life about certain professions influences our perception of those roles and whether or not we'd actually ever work them. For example, what your childhood training or what types of sports your parents put you into is going to play a huge role into what you like and what you strive towards when you can make your own decisions. You might not be cut out for life as a rapper or astronaut because something that you want to do has a lot to do with what you're able to bring to the table. How you approach something that needs to get done plays a huge role in what you go for and what is available for you. Are you punctual? Can you be flexible? Are you committed? How do you work? Essentially, what are you capable of achieving? That's what he says we need to pay attention to. And this will actually make you more competitive today. So you need to be aware. Crumble emphasizes that a career counselor should help you learn the skills necessary to choose a career and also to engage in the experiences that will help you know what that career is going to be like. That way you can make the best informed decision. We need an accurate idea of what's out there, and we need to know how we might experience it so we can choose something that we can actually stick with. This theory has been further developed, and it's allowed for more that could be used in the counseling field today. Next, we take a look at my personal favorite, Linda Gottfredson's theory. She says that our childhood and adolescence years are crucial in exploration and career choice overall. But what we most also consider is our social self-concept. And this is your own view of how you see your gender and your social status, socioeconomic status. Think about it. How might that influence the careers that you think are options? Gottfredson believes in weeding out the unacceptable career choices as a means of finding a career that is right for you. And that's how she she came up with the word circumscription. This takes a look at how children's interests narrow as they develop from early elementary school throughout high school. You can think of maybe the difference between the things that you wanted to do as an elementary level kid and how that changed in high school, and ask yourself why. As kids learn, they form sort of an exclusive bubble that's filled with career options that only align with their current public identity. And we'll go more into this as we touch on these stages of childhood career thinking. The first stage is orientation and power, which happens from ages 3 to 5. And basically, it says that kids see the world as big humans, adults, and small humans, kids. And when they do role play, they play out these scenarios as adults who work, because the big adults, the big humans that work are the ones who hold the power. Typically, you're being raised in a household by some adults that have some sort of income, some sort of hustle, and that's what you consider to be the big thing, the big power move. The second stage is orientation to sex roles. So from 6 to 8, we focus on careers that are in line with our own gender, and we reject those that aren't. Also, peer judgments have a huge role to play with this. If you've ever worked in an elementary school setting, the kids can be pretty harsh if you're a boy who likes pink. I've literally experienced that myself, and it's so sad. He just likes it. It doesn't change anything about who he is, but your peers and sometimes the parents will even kind of criticize you for that. So anything that's out of line with what your gender identity is perceived to be by others can sort of influence you to push that career option out of this bubble of careers. Stage 3, orientation to social valuation. From ages 9 to 13, a kid will likely choose a career that blends her interests with her own social self-concept, with a splash of what would make sense to and impress others around me. So prestige, appropriateness, and interests all play a factor in what we want to be when we grow up at those ages. The goal during this stage is to seek balance of all of these factors, Gottfredson says. And from middle school to high school, what everyone thinks about you kind of rules all. So hopefully these kids will be able to stay in tune with what works for them. Stage 4, orientation to the internal, unique self. Kids 14 and older reduce their choices in line with what their emerging and distinctive identities are. So we're becoming more actively self-aware. We're figuring out who and what we do and don't like, and we're making choices based on what we do and don't enjoy. That's going to have a major impact on what careers we go for. Gottfredson believes in implementing elementary programs that encourage children to be more flexible in their career aspirations. And she's concerned that throughout adolescent years, too many kids will eliminate great career choices just because they don't align with what they're supposed to be doing, or it's a result of a lack of information. But ignorance and closed-mindedness should not stop us from choosing a career that works for us. Though related research is limited, Gottfredson's look into elementary career choices and the influence of sex role stereotyping continues on via counseling strategies and factors to consider, as well as for the purpose of career-focused program development, which I really hope we see more of, because flexibility and open-mindedness are everything. Now we have postmodern theories. How do we give meaning to our feelings and values, and how do we perceive reality is what was asked here. You can take the constructivist view, which asks, how does your mind make sense of your reality? Then you have the constructionist view, which is concerned with how using language to communicate with our environments creates meaning for us. For example, maybe one day as a kid, you go to a protest and you speak up, and the attention that you got afterwards, maybe really good attention and praise, or some people that you were just ready to combat, really inspired you to want to get more involved because you're good at it and it felt rewarding. Social networking and political science might be fields you look into as careers then. Narrative theorists explore how we communicate through storytelling while being our own protagonists, and how that gives what we do meaning. all very important. If you ask a kid today, they'll tell you that they're the champion of their story most of the time. And so if they can place a career for that champion, then that's what they're going to focus on. Meaning can always change. Thus, we can create our own realities at any time. Postmodern counselors focus on what different jobs mean to you and how you figure out what you're interested in. And we learn certain ideas as we develop that may cause us to see things one way. And postmodern counselors will get to the bottom of how and why we do so. Constructivist career theories mention dominant storylines, which involve taking a good look at the ways in which our environment, so the culture, the school, the kids we're around, social media, home life, all impact our lives. It's advantageous to refer to career goals as preferred futures, so we view our futures with more uncertainty and more openness, which could help you with disappointment management and flexibility that we were talking about with Goddardson. Lastly, we always have to have a backup plan that lays out alternative and realistic futures. That way you don't feel like you're down and out if something doesn't go the way you want. And long story short, you have to spend some time getting to know yourself, unlock your own mind in order to make the best decisions. Good luck.